Nice.
I had one where I was introed into a Jamaican gang, right? But I don't look Jamaican, obviously.
That doesn't make any sense.
Bumbleclap.
But
Down by the beach, boy.
Let it finish.
the people that I was buying from were Jamaican, right? So,
And there I was, the head of a Jamaican gang.
I did have dreads at the time, though. So
Nice.
No.
And welcome back to another edition of Diving Deep with the Dirty Water Boys. Yours truly, Dirty Water Don, to my left.
Ganimal here.
And who do we have in the studio today, Ganimal?
Ray Fastino.
Fastino.
That's right.
Sounds like some kind of Italian.
A little bit.
A little bit Italian.
A hint of Italian.
So we have you here today for Officer Appreciation Day, which is May 15th.
well, I think it's Police Memorial Day or something like that. It's
Okay.
May 15th.
Police Memorial Week.
We have you here because you're a
Yeah.
sweet cop. You're a copper. So how long were you?
Ex-copper. Ex-copper.
No, once you're a cop, always a cop.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
told.
true.
Yeah, I heard that in such a
But
long
I am
movie.
retired, happily.
How long were you happily? How long were you a cop for?
28 years.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
How old are you?
What do I look like?
54.
Close. 58.
Look, you had a very relaxing 58 years.
Oh, no. I'll tell you some of the stories. It's definitely not relaxing.
While you were in law enforcement, as you're an active duty officer, I've been told you did a realm of different tasks and duties.
I did.
So you weren't like a regular beat cop
So
patrolman.
let's start. What made you want to become a police officer?
That's actually a great question. I'm glad you asked that.
That
'Cause
was my next question.
I was figuring, if I'm going to do this, somebody's going to ask me why I did this, right? And it's actually it's a sad story, okay? So I'm 5 years old. My dad dies of Hodgkin's disease, right? We lived with my paternal grandparents in their house. Once he died, kicked us out, right? My mother goes on,
Your dad's parents?
kicked us out,
Okay.
okay?
All right. See that coming.
Yeah, it wasn't a good thing. We wound up going on welfare. It was very difficult, and we wound up moving in with my mother's family, and there was a lot of issues there, right? And there was some alcohol issues, and it led into a whole bunch of other things. And I think that was the crux of what made me want to be a cop, because as a kid I felt very helpless. Right, and then what I wanted to, I didn't want anybody else to feel like that. So that feeling, as I got older, it kind of grew into do something that you can help people that can't help themselves.
Something you can have a gun.
Yeah, too.
Yeah, it helps. It definitely helps.
But that was the crux of why I wanted to become a cop, I think.
Okay. Well, sorry for your loss of your father.
No, I mean, 20.
So you decided to be a cop. What age did you go to be a cop at?
Oof.
What age did you go to the academy?
28.
Well, okay.
But
So
it was a long process, and I'll tell you why. I wound up, I was a street kid, right? Got out of St. Aloysius High in Jersey City. Went to college and just absolutely blew it in college, right? I didn't do well. I was more concerned with partying than I was with school, right? After that, I was I just took any job I could get. I wound up working for Hess.
the oil company?
Yeah, pumping gas,
Okay.
right? So I'm like, wow, this is not going to be a good career, right? So with that being said, I took a test to get into AT&T,
Okay.
right? Got into AT&T. I got in their mail room and then worked my way eventually up to a tech position of, back then it was what they called LAN and WAN, which is now what they call the internet.
Right.
So I had a pretty decent job, right? But
So you invented the internet?
I did.
That's
I
what-
did invent it.
That's what I got. That's what I gathered from that.
I get royalties.
every day.
So I had a pretty good career, and it was a good trajectory, right? But it was very unfulfilling, man. Like, to me, it didn't scratch that itch for me.
Yeah.
All while I was working for AT&T, I also used to bounce at a nightclub. So that's where like I kind of really grasped onto the whole security issue, right? Like, wow, this is really cool to be able to take care of people that can't take care of themselves, you know?
Get the taste for blood.
No, not really. It's nothing like that.
He likes to help people. You listening?
No, but it's really when I go
right.
through these stories, it's not about that, and you'll see. Like a lot of people think that being a bouncer or being a cop is about being physical, and it is to a point. Don't get me wrong, but it's truthfully, it's all about your mouth, right?
Yeah.
It's about
it's hard
how
to de-escalate.
de-escalate.
Right?
It's always that, you know. Like it's always trying to get people to come back to you, you know. So, with that being said, I tried to become a cop in Jersey all over the place, right? All these small departments, very tough to get on, a lot of nepotism,
Very
a lot of
cliquey.
Right.
a lot of cronyism. So I wound up taking the test in New York City. I did well, and they called, and I left a great job at AT&T, and I went and worked for the New York City Police Department.
Well, and so you started at 28, and you ran it for another 28 years in
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Out of all the jobs you've had as a cop,
Mm-hmm.
what was your favorite one?
Ooh, that's okay. Plainclothes assignment and street crime unit. Now, the street crime unit it's a plainclothes unit that goes around and looks for
Shit to go down.
well, you're looking for it before it goes down,
Yeah.
right? So you're looking for guys with guns, and you're looking for guys that do robberies. Like you're looking for the worst of the worst, right? And that to me was the most fun because it was very reactive, right? Like you're watching people and how they react to you, right? And depending on what they're doing, like you're gonna go stop them, you know?
Do you just walk around?
No, you're in a car.
Oh, you're driving around looking for bad shit.
Yep. And you're like I worked in East New York. I worked in Brownsville. I don't know if you know where that is.
As you drive, yeah, we were both in the New York Union. We're doing
Okay.
a lot of work in New York. We're in local 1556, New York City Dock Builders.
Okay.
We do a lot of the
So
boroughs.
how long did that take you to start from like a plainclothes officer, like a regular officer, beach cop, to getting to that point?
Okay, so I started out as a cop, just a regular beat cop, right? In the first precinct, which is Lower Manhattan, right?
Okay.
Where the- you know,
That's
the
for
whole-
that circle. When you get in the circle.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
a friend of ours is there, Steve
Yep.
Stiller. He was in precinct 1.
Okay. Kind of boring though for me. Like I was like, wow, this is not really what I wanted to do. So I transferred to another precinct in Alphabet City, the 9th precinct. Now Alphabet City back in the day was active, right? Like there was a lot of drugs, there was some shootings. So I was like, this is what being a cop is all about, right? So I get there, and you know, I was there probably about a year, and I'm like, wow, this is great, but it's still not scratching the itch that
I need more violence.
well, I'm looking for more, just to get more involved in stuff, right? So the opportunity to become an undercover comes up, right? I had 2.5 years on a job, and they don't want people with a lot of time because when you have a lot of time, you're tainted already.
Yeah.
Right. So here I am. I'm a new cop, and I'm like, okay, I'll take a shot at it. You get a detective shield out of it in 18
really?
months. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I go through the training, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I made the right decision here. I'm 6'2", 225 pounds. Like,
I kind of stand out.
nobody's going to sell me drugs, right? And then now
I would.
Well, now you would.
I
Right?
absolutely I would. I'm like, hey, what's really?
So you go through training as an undercover, right? And you learn like what's important to really, like, it doesn't matter what you look like. It's kind of what you say, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember this was so scary, man. My first buy, I was on Coney Island Avenue, right? And I had to go. I walked up to this guy and like, how do you even initiate? Like, I want to buy drugs, you know what I mean? But literally, I got there. The guy looked at me. I looked at him, and I'm like, he gave me 2. Boom. I was like, holy shit.
That was easy.
They sold me drugs, you know?
What I heard is if you ask somebody, hey, you holding? I heard that. It works.
Oh.
Yeah. Just saying. I heard.
You know what? Maybe you should. You should join the police department.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Never too late.
I'm way too past that. We were walking up and down Vegas Strip, and at the time this was going on, we were trying to buy narcotics, and everywhere we went, we're walking, and the guy I was with looks like the commish, bald guy, and he looks like a cop.
Oh yeah.
Just has that cop vibe.
Yeah.
and every guy, they were like, whoop, 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 whoop. I'm like, well, fuck me. So we keep walking to the end of Vegas Strip, and I knew the guy from Newark. I knew him. I was like, yo, what are you doing, bro? He's like, I'm selling my album. I'm like, yo, you hold it? He's like, yeah, of course. I'm like, thank God. But yeah, I heard if you ask, hey, you holding?
Okay.
Just future reference.
Thank you.
If you ever come out of retirement, try that little jam, you know? Just saying. Anyway, so there you are buying drugs.
So I'm like, wow, it's definitely filled with a lot of adrenaline, right? So, I did that probably for a good 6 months in Brooklyn, and I'm like, wow, this is...
Oh, in Brooklyn you did this?
Yeah.
Did it get easier and easier each time you bought it, or was there like a lot of like?
You get more comfortable with it,
Right.
Yeah.
But it's never easy, right? Because like you're getting called out all the time, and you're like, you're walking into some really bad neighborhoods, and you're going into buildings and projects, and like it's not easy.
Any
man.
close calls on those buys?
I'll get into a
Fair
couple.
enough, fair
I'll
enough.
get
Don't
into-
rush him.
I'll get into a couple of them.
I'm sorry for my friend here.
No, it's okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. So I wind up going to Staten Island, right? Like I transferred to Staten Island.
Ugh, brother. Ugh.
That's what I thought, right?
A lot of action.
But there was a lot
A
of
lot
action.
of cocaine in Staten Island.
There was a lot of action going on in Staten Island at that time, right?
What kind of drugs?
Mostly crack at that point.
Correct, okay.
Little ecstasy,
Ooh. Never
That was just starting to peak at that point.
All
right?
right, I never really dealt with the crack. Yeah, ecstasy I fucked with. But anyway, sorry.
A lot of powdered coke.
Hey, you
Yep.
go.
Little
Now we're talking.
little heroin. Heroin actually at that point wasn't even really big.
No, it wasn't popular. Bigger in Harlem.
Yet.
It wasn't in
it
Staten
didn't get
Island.
bigger until the pills.
Yes, then it really
Prescriptions,
blew
yeah.
up, man. So I was doing all street level stuff, right? Like, so you go out and you just every day you're looking to, it's called buy and bust, right? So you're going out and you're looking
So
for.
basically, you were like a functioning crackhead. Always
Yes,
going to buy.
absolutely you
Yeah.
are. Absolutely you
You're
are.
always in that next fix.
Yeah.
I understand it's a very big adrenaline rush. Buying, like, using is also a adrenaline rush. just saying.
You didn't immediately arrest them on the spot. Did you have somebody else come and do it, or
No, yes.
you were just a buyer,
Yeah,
right?
just to buy it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 'cause you- that's a horrible
Yeah,
method.
yeah.
You'll destroy your street cred.
That's what I was
Yes,
wondering. Yeah.
well, that's what happens, right?
This guy's so unlucky. Every time he buys, guys get locked up.
So one of my last buy and bust, Gerald Carter was shot and killed in the houses on Staten Island, right? He was a cop. He got shot, and we go over there to do buy and bust, right? So this is actually a funny story because I got locked up.
You got arrested buying drugs?
I got arrested.
And you can't say nothing. You just gotta get locked up.
So I go out there, right, and I'm dressed down, right. I'm doing my thing, and I get into this girl, and when I mean to get into her, I start talking to her, and I'm really like,
I'm glad you clarified.
yeah.
I was like, when did you get into her, huh? You dirty dog. Yeah.
So I'm probably an hour into bullshitting with her, trying to get her to
It takes that long?
yeah, because what are you gonna? You can't just walk up to somebody, hey, how you doing? Let me have some drugs.
Yeah, you holding?
Yeah,
Like I'm saying.
But especially in a place that's getting flooded with cops, right? So you have to be
Sell yourself,
innovative,
yeah.
you know. So I wound up. I'm into her for about an hour, right? And I'm on my way back. She's gonna introduce me to somebody. I'm like, yeah, cool.
Get the plug.
Yeah, here we go, baby. Here we go, right? So as I'm going there, right? I had a beer with me. Now, you're allowed to carry that for cover, right? Like, for some of that stuff. And there was a cop there, so he goes, yo, come here. So I'm like, oh shit.
Fuck you, pig. Throw the beer.
So he winds up. He asked me for my ID, right? I give him my ID, which is all fake anyway.
Okay.
Right. And he throws me on the car and he starts patting me down, right? So he finds my off-duty gun in my back pocket. So like I'm literally in the middle of the projects, right? Like in the middle of the project.
Yeah, daddy's got to stay strapped. I get it. Yeah.
So everybody's watching what's going on, right? So like as soon as he finds my gun, he's like, throws me against the car, puts me in cuffs, throws me in the car. He's on a radio, I just got a gun off this guy.
I'm a hero.
So they wind up.
What a fucking dick tease gets back to the priest. They're like, you didn't arrest anybody.
Oh no! So in the car, the female partner is like, she's in the car, and I'm like, I'm telling her I'm a cop, right? And she's like, oh shit. So now the kid gets in the car, and like we spoke about a couple things, and he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, listen, just get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I have to go to jail now.
Yeah.
So they get me out of there, right? Everybody. Meanwhile, there's a crowd of people all over the place, right? So I got locked up, and then eventually they cut me loose. And
Yeah, but when you go back to that neighborhood,
I bought drugs the next time I went back.
because you
there.
you had some
I
street
had
cred.
street cred.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
The best thing ever happened
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, that was cool.
What drugs were you buying that day?
Oh, that was crack.
But being you're a larger man, if I was selling crack and you came to buy crack from me, I'd be like, looking a little big to be smoking crack.
Well, I wasn't as big back then. I mean, I was tall and probably around 2.25 at that point.
So I'm
but-
thinking like crack. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm thinking of those quintessential New York crackheads that do
But
backflips off dumpsters.
there's a lot of things that you do to kind of, you're going to dress down, you're going to do different things to make sure you fit in.
Okay.
And then, obviously it's all about how you talk,
Hey, talk about it.
So after doing the B&B, I'm like, wow, this is burning me out a little
By the way,
bit.
that's busting by.
Thank you.
Bust.
No,
You're welcome.
buy and bust.
Yeah, same difference. Same, but different.
So I had the opportunity to go to a major case team, right? Now, a major case team is really cool because now you're getting it. It's not buy and bust. Like, you're working cases, right? So you're getting involved with, like, heavier duty dealers, and that's when it starts getting really interesting, right? Like, you get introduced or you get yourself into some kind of gang or whatever. And
When you say gang, you mean like street gang?
Yeah.
You infiltrate. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Getting in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So you're the deep cover shit.
yeah, I mean, real, like, you're doing some pretty cool stuff.
Oh, right on. Okay.
So I had one where I was introed into a Jamaican gang, right? But I don't look Jamaican, obviously.
That doesn't make any
But-
sense.
Bumble clap.
But
Down by the beach, boy.
Let it finish.
the people that I was buying from were Jamaican, right? So
And there I was, the head of a Jamaican gang.
I did have dreads at the time, though. So
Nice.
No. But my alias fit who I look like. Okay, so
When the cameras are off, you gotta tell me later.
Yeah.
It's
so I wound up, I was buying a lot of drugs from them, and then
weed.
Nah,
I thought you were buying weed from them.
Nah,
No, really?
No.
Jamaicans not selling-
powdered coke.
Oh,
Powdered coke. A
That's
lot
where
of
the money
powdered
is,
coke.
yeah.
Lot
was
of
it
powdered
stepped
coke.
on? You can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah, it was probably stepped on. Not great, but a little bit,
Okay. All right.
right? Because you always were checking that, right?
Yeah, you have an
don't-
address or something? Or... Anyway,
We'll
so-
talk about it later.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what you're trying to do is always up the case, right?
Yeah.
Like, you always want to buy more or whatever, right? So, he asked me, do I want to buy a Tech 9 from him, right?
Hell yeah, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah, fully auto?
There's no automatic Tech 9s. They're not.
They're not. There's
No,
one shop?
those are Mac. Those are Macs.
Yeah, Mac 10s.
Mac 10s, Mac 9s.
Oh, okay.
So all the Tech 9 is a fancy looking. It looks like a machine
Can't
gun.
get a bump
Yeah,
stock,
it has the barrel cover
Yep.
on it with the heat.
And
the
it has
heat thing
it has the long clip in it. It looks like a really heavy duty gun,
But it's not.
it's a 9mm. That's all it is.
bullshit. I don't want that.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
But it's a cool looking gun.
Yeah, so you're like, fucking $5 is mine. Yeah, I got you.
Makes a hell of the headline on the news.
Yeah.
So the guy asked me, do I want to buy a gun? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, right?
What do you got?
So he says, okay, listen, I can get you a Tech 9, but you got to go to Brooklyn and go get it, right? So,
All this work? You come to me and I got to work?
well, that's what happens, right? Like, you plan it out, though, right? Like, this is not just, like, I'm not just going somewhere, right? This is all planned out. So I wind up going to Brooklyn, and I'm shitting in my pants, right? I'm like, I'm walking into a Jamaican house now, right? I'm by myself, right? I'm like, wow, man, like, so I get there, I ring the bell, the guy comes out, he's like, hey, what's up? Brings me in, locks the door, and I'm like, oh shit, man, this is gonna
Real rapey vibe.
I mean, it's a scary feeling when you're like, I know I'm a cop. They don't know I'm a cop, right? So
I hope they don't.
and then you're worrying, are they going to try to rip me, right? Like, that's the other part to it, right? I have money with me. They know I have money with me, right? So I wind up, he invites me downstairs, right? And when you go into this basement, it was like it literally looked like a shooting range.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they had acoustics in there, the whole bit. So
And this was in Brooklyn?
yeah, it's in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So he winds up. He gives me the tech, and he goes, okay, fire a couple rounds. So I fired a couple rounds down there. Blah blah blah. So
Don't be too accurate.
Oh no!
I mean, it's a marksman.
No, and I did the old side
Yeah,
thing.
there you go.
Really
Yeah, good
solid,
call.
really
Good call.
solid.
Kill shot. Bang bang.
So I wound up. I bought the pistol, and then I got out of there. But the adrenaline that's going through your body when it's when you're describing it, right? Like you have no idea how afraid you are in there
Until after
right?
the fact.
Like it's like it makes you shake, and you have to kind of get your bearings, and you have to keep plugging along,
Can you imagine he leaves? The two guys are sitting there in the basement and like, he was a cop, bro. He turned the gun sideways. He's not a cop. He's fucking fine. He's fine. He's cool. Good people.
I'll tell you, they were very surprised at the end, though.
Hey, what the fuck? We were friends.
They were very surprised at the end.
Now, being undercover, right? When
Yep.
you're that deep under, you ever make friends with one of them?
Yes.
And you're like, it's kind of fucked.
No, you do.
Yeah.
Because it's actually part of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's just part of human interaction, right?
Right.
Like, and you can't let that get in the way either, right? Like, your job is like, okay, like, they're a drug dealer, now my job is to take them down.
Has it ever bothered you at all over the 28 years?
No.
There has been one guy, one Vin Diesel moment where
Like
he's
had
like,
a-
take
had
the
a
car,
fan-
get out of here.
No, not really. No, because you know what? Like, it was never to the point where, first of all, like, they were coming over my house for dinner.
Right.
But there's definitely a connection with people. You know what I mean? And then you're like, man, I wish they weren't like that, but
But this will teach him a lesson.
but yeah, definitely
Get
not.
them the help they need at Rikers.
Well, isn't that Biden? That's what he says, right?
No, I believe it's right. Yeah.
Who? That piece of shit. Don't get me started. A side note, unrelated topic of this, but Rikers came up. So we were working by LaGuardia Airport.
Right.
You're a cop. You'll appreciate this. And my brother, at the time, Captain Tie Knots, didn't tie the boat up. This boat has a full fuel tank in it. Key in the ignition.
It's, by the way, it's a 15-foot fishing boat. It's not like anything crazy.
Right.
I mean, if you're escaping prison, it's a pretty crazy boat.
Yeah, so
Right? So it just floats away. Right? So I come down to the dock. I park my boat.
it's Friday, 4 o'clock.
I
We're
was like,
just about to leave.
Where's the boat? And
What
John,
boat?
John's like, I talked to the pier. I'm like, unless there's a new fucking pier. No, he didn't. So now we have our buddy Cortez with us, and we got on the boat. We're looking for this missing boat now. So it washed up on Rikers with the key, full tank of fuel.
Oh.
So
Right,
the harbor patrol guys get it, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh.
Right? So we roll up, two idiots. Hey guys, got our boat.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's our boat.
They look at me, look at him, and look at our Colombian friend that was with us. And they hand me the boat. They're like, all right, have a nice day.
I'm like, yeah, we're working by the airport. This idiot can't tie knots.
No questions
No,
asked.
no ID?
No ID.
Nothing.
Not who
We
are
leave
you.
with the boat.
Nothing. We're looking at each other like,
Like, what the fuck?
weird.
Somebody fucked
As
up.
we're driving back, our Colombian
Cortez.
friend goes, ain't that some white ass shit?
White privileged motherfuckers. I would have been shot if I answered that boat.
Well, that
This
no
hand us the boat. Here you go.
questions asked.
and they just went with your
The only
story.
thing, no, they
Just
didn't ask us anything.
I volunteered the information. I
Oh,
said,
that's right, he
I go,
did,
idiot
yeah,
can't
yeah,
tie
yeah.
knots. We're right over here. We're working on the airport. We're diving over here, and he lost the boat.
The only thing I can think is if that they already looked it up registration and figured out who we were. where
that
we
boat
were
wasn't
working.
registered. Bless your heart.
Was there any advertisements on it?
No.
No, just an inspection sticker. In
It
the
was a
windshield.
boat that was, excuse me, it wasn't a work boat.
Registration rather.
It was like a nice boat. And then it was bought for the upper management to come down and the management of Port Authority to get on and come watch us
If you were
work.
going to escape from Rikers, that would be the boat.
That's a
you'd want.
classy boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, low profile, slick
Yeah,
looking.
how do you not even ask?
No,
For
single
ID
question.
at that
Not
point.
even a single question. They're like, this seems legit.
Yeah, have a good weekend, guys.
Here you go. And then hand him the rope. I go, you're not tying that up. Give me the fucking thing. I tied it to our boat and I towed it back. It was a good time. Anyway, so
Wait, do you remember? That was actually similar to Carlito's Way. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Love Carlito's Way.
no.
Yeah, there was a right near Rikers. They
didn't
had,
see the movie.
they had yeah.
And
I watch it tonight.
there's
Great
Rise
movie.
to Power. P. Diddy's in it.
Don't talk about the diddler. Won't talk about him.
That's the original.
I love
Original
Sean
Carlito's
Penn.
Way, the new one.
I really loved him until the whole, get your shot or I won't work with you, piece of shit. That thing. Fucking jerk off.
So
Don't wave me on. Fuck that piece of shit.
you're making buys, and
You're Jamaican now. Congratulations on that.
I am.
Did you have to drink Red Stripe?
Yeah, matter of fact, I did.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah,
Sons
I
of
did.
bitches.
I did.
So how long after you bought that Tech 9 did the Brooklyn undercovers go in, or Brooklyn team go in and get
Well,
that?
you're building a case, so
Oh, so a
you're
while then. After
Yeah,
that.
it takes a while. It's not immediately afterwards. Or
So
anything.
let's say hypothetically you did some shady shit like that and like 2 years passed. You still looking like you might get arrested because of it?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, of course.
Good to
course.
know. Good to know.
Yes, it's always
certain federal charges, they don't have statute of limitations.
All right, just wondering. I'm just asking for a friend. What's the problem? Just wondering.
hypothetical situation. Of course.
Completely hypothetical. So it's your dog. Got it. So you buy the gun. You're building a case. How long were you under the Jamaicans for?
They were just part of an overall bigger case.
Did you ever go against any other organized crime?
No, definitely not.
That's no fun.
Yeah, that's a lot of more Fed stuff.
Oh, the locals don't do it?
Yeah, we do, but they were kind of put together. There's a task force usually with the Feds.
I watched New York City police officers and postal police recently in my life kick down a door in North Arlington, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
It said task force in the back. It was NYPD guys. These guys were monsters.
Yeah.
Like everyone was there 6'5".
It was check fraud.
It could, yeah.
Was it?
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you're working, if a local agency, even like Lyndhurst PD, they can work with the Feds, and then they get deputized to do,
Do Fed shit.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've also seen that at Stop and Shop. I saw that again. 3 cars unmarked pinned in another car. Came out of nowhere. I was sitting there like, what the fuck? Boom, boom. They hit the car. They didn't just like stop and say you can't leave. No, they're like bang, bang.
Or that one night at the gas station, we were sitting there, and then all of a sudden, at 3 a.m, bunch of cops roll in and block the car next to us, and we're like, and us kind of, we're looking at each other like, what the fuck?
I am way too fucked up for
And
this.
then the cop just like has it back to him, and looking at the other car, and she turns around, she's like, oh no, you guys are fine.
I'm like, quick skedaddle.
Oh my god.
All right, bud. I'll put these drugs away now. Get out of here. Let me just back up. I don't spill anything.
Good times.
Yeah, great. The one cop, we get all these cop stories. I was in Jersey City. I'm at the gas station. It's like 3 a.m, maybe 2 a.m. I left the Blue Moon, I think it was called. I'm on 1 and 9 there. Cop rolls in. What are you guys doing over here? I'm like, I'm buying cigarettes. You ain't buying hookers, are you? I go, I don't know what a fucking hooker looks like. He goes, hey, you, hooker, get over here. And the girl walks over. He goes, that's a hooker. I'm like, huh. Good to know.
Hey, you hooker, get over here.
So then you left
so-
and then came back.
Yeah,
around.
you turn came back.
And he's like, hooker, you get over
Hooker,
here.
get over here. That's what she answers. So you work. I still can't believe you worked with Jamaicans. Like that's blowing my mind. You doing deals with Jamaicans?
Yeah.
Do they have the quintessential accents?
Oh yeah.
Did they say bumbleclot?
Oh yeah. They did.
You should write a book and just lead it with that. That
It was interesting.
So what is your craziest bust? Can you get into that? Like, what is the biggest amount of narcotics you single-handedly purchased?
Me personally, half a kilo.
All right.
What is that? 4 pounds? 2 pounds?
1.1 pounds.
Thank you. That was quick.
Man, wow, you know that pretty
I
well.
was pretty dumb. I'm like, what is that? 2
I
pounds?
watched a lot of The Wire.
Oh, okay. That's it.
So how long did you do Undercover as a whole?
I only did it for probably maybe 2.5 years.
And boom, now you're a detective. You got the brass.
I got promoted, and then I was on a sergeant's list. So right from there, I was only a detective for a year. Then I got promoted to sergeant.
So sergeants are higher than the detectives?
Yes.
I didn't know that. How does the ranking go?
Okay. So you have 2 paths, right?
Okay.
You have the investigative path, right, which is a detective, right? And then you have the police officer boss path, right?
Okay.
So it depends on what you want to do. Like, so I wanted to become an investigator, right?
Okay.
So I was a cop. You have to be a cop before you become a detective, right? And then you become a detective. Blah, blah, blah. Right. So in the NYPD, there's 3 different levels of detective, right? You have a detective 3, detective 2, and a detective 1. Usually it coincides with how long you're on a job.
Okay.
Right? So detective 3, you're probably there for, until you have maybe 12 plus years on. Then you go to Detective 2. And
Can
then
you
Detective-
jump that if you're doing really crazy work, like really good work, big busts? Can that fast track you to go those stages, or it's a time thing?
No, you could get fast tracked, and if you know the right people.
All right.
You know, but I haven't heard anybody going from Detective 3 to a Detective 1 unless it was posthumously through a death.
Okay.
You know, so it's you have to follow that.
Mm-hmm.
Now the other side, right now, you have a cop and a detective, non-supervisory positions, right? Then you have a sergeant, whether on both sides, they're the first level boss.
Okay.
Then you have a lieutenant who runs the sergeants, right? And then you have a captain who runs the lieutenants. And then you have a deputy inspector, inspector chief.
I once got tickets from a captain.
Oh, really?
You must
Yeah.
have been a real asshole.
Yeah, no, I was, but I wasn't. Yeah,
A captain wrote you a summons?
3 summons.
Oh,
and the tickets were so old that the courtroom was no longer
So you
there.
Really, you really pissed him
it
off.
was
then,
a
didn't
court
you?
library.
You really pissed him off.
No. I didn't. Hold on. I get a letter in the mail. It says, first of all, let me paint you a picture, okay? Here I am, high as a kite. Okay? Imagine that, high as a kite. I get a letter in the mail. I look at the mail, I was, what the fuck is this? I have to report to jail. I was like, for fucking what? I haven't even been arrested in how long? I had no pending charges, nothing. Nothing over my head, no PTI, no nothing.
Right.
No probation, no parole. I'm like, this is fucking dumb. But if anything I do know, I know to respond to a legal notice that I do know. So I go down to the jail. I'm like, hey guys, hate to be the one to tell you this. I got this by mistake. The guy goes, yeah, everyone in here is innocent too, brother. It's $33. You fill this paperwork out. I'm like, I don't think you understand, my man. I have no pending charges. I have nothing. There's no reason for me to even have this. And they're like, I go, I don't have a trial. I don't have court. I have nothing going on right now in my life to have this. And they're like, well, you were approved by the court for work release. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what that even is. I didn't do anything. Now we're yelling at each other. So I'm like, I'm innocent. And he's like, you're fucking guilty. Some names were called. Right? Now, when I went in there, I had a motorcycle helmet with me.
A what?
A motorcycle helmet.
Okay.
Like a half shell, wasn't a DOT helmet.
Mm-hmm.
My bike was parked outside in the street. So then I get pushed against the wall, and now I was handcuffed now. My wallet was taken from me, and in there was my driver's license. Well, you guessed it, there was no motorcycle endorsement on it. So he's looking at the helmet, looking at the license, and goes, well, Mr. Billy Badass, you don't have a license to operate a motor vehicle, the motorcycle. I said, who says I'm operating a motorcycle? I can walk around a helmet. Maybe I'm a little slow. Now I'm thinking I'm being funny. He did not find that funny. So I get put in a cell. My sister had to come down and bring me $33 for the registration for work release. Again, not supposed to have it. Long story short, they called I just begged the one guy who listened to him, like, just call the home court and see why the fuck I'm here. They called the court. It was a mistake by the clerk. It was another guy named.
So basically, you screwed yourself.
Yeah, and I told him I was innocent. He didn't want to hear it. He told me everyone in there was innocent. I'm like, yeah, but I really am. So this guy, Don, something with a G, similar to my last name, had a drug charge, but doing his conditionary discharge wherever he was allowed to work, certain hours of the day, and he had to report to the jail. They released me. Not a single fucking apology. No. They followed me outside. So now I'm sitting next to my motorcycle. I can't turn it on because I don't have a license. The jig is up, okay? So he's sitting there, and the captain is laughing, and he's looking at it, and he comes over and hands me 3 tickets. I was like, what are these?
All equipment violations.
Unsafe tires.
Yeah.
He said my tread was too low, right? I was like, you didn't even put a fucking gauge on it, my guy. All of a sudden, you moonlighting for a DOT inspector? What are you doing? And then he gives me, my blinkers were smoked. They weren't red. They were smoked lenses. He gave me for that. And he gave me some of my mirrors. I don't think I had mirrors. And he gave me a ticket for that.
Okay.
All right,
So basically, you were guilty on all 3.
yeah, absolutely. Right? So he's waiting for me to start the bike and leave. I'm like, fuck you. I call my buddy with a tow truck. The flatbed comes. And so now I'm thinking, I win. Fuck you. No, I didn't win. So I pay the tickets. I think accumulation like $185. Maybe. I figured street tax. I'll pay it, right? Cool. I pay the money. A year and a half later, I get arrested. For what, you might ask? You seem like an upstanding citizen.
For what will you ask?
Unpaid tickets. Would you believe it?
Oh my goodness!
I paid those sons of bitches in cash. I had no proof, and on my kids, I paid them. Now I get picked up. I brought into Hackensack. They're like, warrant for your arrest, $185, whatever the case may be. You got to pay it. I'm like, okay. So I paid it. And when you guessed,
With a check?
yes, I did.
Good.
I paid it. No, it was a money order. I don't think it was a check. It was a money order from the post office, and I had the receipt laminated in my wallet.
Just in case.
That's how I operate. And when you guessed, about 8 months later,
Another one?
I get a thing in the mail saying I didn't pay those.
Oh. So was this in Hackensack?
This wasn't Hackensack, yes.
Well, needless to say, you don't hang out in Hackensack.
No, I don't go there anymore. Anyway, more about you being an awesome cop, not this one douche captain who got me. You know.
Well, listen, I actually have a funny story about
Do
the
you?
summons.
All right, what do you got for me?
Okay. So I'm a rookie cop, right? And like you want to do stuff, right? So you're waiting for somebody to do something, right? So this guy blows this light, right? I'm like, okay.
Was it a good looking light?
Oh, it was definitely a good looking light. So I pull him over.
Wait, this was your first ever, like, pull over, or okay, cool.
Yeah, one of my first ever, right? And I was on a fixer post, so I really shouldn't have been doing a car stop. I was by myself, right? But
You're a badass.
really, I was a
John fucking Wick himself.
So it was a livery cab, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get out, right, and I'm like, okay, this guy, he just blew this light. Blah, 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 right?
He probably kills babies on the weekends.
Right? I close the door, I slam the door, right? It starts friggin' pouring out. Like, I mean pouring, right? And I'm like, so I'm standing there, right? And I'm like, let me take your license, registration, insurance, right? I take it, right? And I'm getting soaking wet, right? It's pouring out. I go back to the car.
Door's locked.
The door is completely locked.
Did you give him a ticket? He gave him 27 tickets.
No. So now I'm like, okay, what do I do? I'm like, my car is in the middle of the road with the lights going off, right? Some lady comes over to me with an umbrella. She goes, "Here, officer." I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much."
The respect I deserve.
Wow.
So, needless to say, I had to radio back the precinct.
Oh, no, I would have broke the window and blamed it on kids.
That was terrible.
Crazy kids broke the window.
Everybody shows up, like, look at the asshole rookie.
Fire trucks,
you know what I
ambulance.
mean?
Why is there a helicopter here? That's just expensive.
But the guy got away with running a light.
Oh, because you have your ticket book.
I had it with me.
Why'd you get a ticket?
God's like, why is he pulling this guy over? I'm gonna make it rain now, and I'm gonna make him block
Listen,
his
there was
car.
no. I'm soaking wet. There was just like at this point, just go, leave. I was trying to de-escalate everybody looking at me.
Get out of
Right?
here.
They're like, wow, look at that dumb cop. He's standing in the middle of the
They
road.
make reindeer, you know that, right? I would have broke that window like zero hesitation.
Did they give you any cool nicknames over the years?
No,
No.
no.
Yeah, they call
That's
them
why locks-
AAA.
yeah.
Hey, AAA's here.
That was
that's
embarrassing
terrible.
to say the least, man. That was embarrassing.
Oh my God, I don't know how.
And you got to remember, we're in the middle of New York City, right?
Yeah.
So everybody's watching, right?
Was
Everybody's
this during
like,
camera phone times?
No, way before
Thank
that.
God.
Way before that. Oh yeah, I would have been on YouTube.
You've been a meme.
Yeah, I would have been on YouTube. They would have, look at this asshole cop.
So you were there during the original protests really started taking place.
Tompkins Square Park.
That was like the OG of protest.
Yeah, they were the squatters. They were like, on 13th.
How do you feel about the protest now?
How do I feel about
How do you feel
them?
about it?
Okay.
What's your take?
I believe people have the right to protest.
I agree.
I totally agree with that. But the people that are protesting are not the students. These are the same anarchists that were associated to BLM, that were associated to the Ferguson riots, that were associated to Occupy Wall Street, that were associated to Tompkins Square
Did
Park.
you see that thing? They're using facial recognition to go back and look at all the footage of those places, and they're picking. He's right. They're picking off different people that are at all of these things.
Have you heard the
problems.
conspiracy theory about BLM? Anybody?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do real quick.
Please enlighten. I
10
want to hear
seconds.
this.
Okay. So the BLM was established. This is only conspiracy theory. I don't know anything about it. I'm just being told what I'm being told. I'm regurgitating. So BLM started solely because they wanted that name. They wanted those three letters together. right? So now when you Google BLM, it's all Black Lives Matter. Everything will come up. Nothing of the Bureau of Land Management. And all the shady shit that was being taken place about the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management, is now buried in the internet under all Black Lives Matters.
That's
So
interesting. I
you
never heard
can't
that one
find
before.
any good article of value now until you dig for days to find it.
Well, being he invented the internet, can we do something
Yeah,
about
I
it?
invented the internet. You
You
want to
and
find out?
Al Get back to I just heard that recently. I'm like,
That makes sense, though.
that makes sense. So you type in BLM, it's nothing. But all the land seizures, all the bullshit they were doing out in the Midwest,
So you saying
You don't
that
talk-
that's
You're
a
saying the
government
government
conspiracy?
would do that?
that's what I'm being told.
The government wouldn't do that, nor would they be losing $2.1 trillion and the next day 9/11 happens.
No.
Speaking of that,
Were you on the job in 9/11?
I was.
Did you report to Ground Zero or?
I did. So that day for me was I worked. I used to work 4 to 12s. I was a sergeant in the 7-7 precinct,
Okay.
which is in Bed-Stuy. So I worked overtime the night before. I didn't get home till probably about 4 or 5 in the morning, and I get a phone call probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock from my wife who was at work. She's like, "Listen, something really bad just happened at the World Trade Center." Right? So I flip on the TV and I'm like, "Oh my God!" So immediately I start getting dressed, and just as I was getting ready to go out the door, the first building came down. So I'm on my way in. The second building comes down, and then I reported directly into my precinct, which is what you're supposed to do, right? So I get to the precinct. Everybody's, at that point, it's probably around 10, 11, maybe 11 o'clock. And, all the emergency personnel as far as ESU, which is like our SWAT team, right? They're all down there. All the Manhattan people are there. And they don't want to really move any of the Brooklyn or the outer borough people to Manhattan because they don't know if there's going to be any further
Okay.
attacks on the outer boroughs. So probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe about 2 o'clock, they start saying, "Okay, listen, we need to get more cops into Manhattan." I volunteered to go down. I don't know if you guys are ever going to hear anything like this, but these are my memories of what happened that day, right? So I remember going into Manhattan and just hearing nothing, which was really odd, right? Like Manhattan is full with cars and horns and sirens, and there was nothing, man. There was nothing. And the other part was like all you saw was like it looked like snow, right? It looked like snow on the ground, and you saw nothing but shoes, like thousands and thousands of shoes that were stuck in what looked like snow. And what happened was, as the buildings were falling down, people were running out of their shoes. And then when the building actually fell down, well, both buildings fell down, all that soot kind of covered it all a little bit, and then the wind started blowing it around. So to me, that's what I remember right off the bat.
Shoes. And
wow.
You know what I mean? Because it was just so odd, And then, once it started getting dark, it was like really very eerie because everything was black, right? There was no power. The only power they had was the generators that were on the site itself. All the surrounding area was black, and it was really eerie, right? Especially from New York, right?
Yeah.
New York is just full of life, right?
Yeah.
And it had this burning smell to it that was just it was terrible. And at the point, I didn't know what it was, right? But it was obviously it was flesh that was burning too, and it was it was surreal, right? Because we go on to the pile, and you're helping, you're trying to help, right? And you're really not doing anything because what are you doing? You're taking buckets and moving them, but you feel like you need to do something to help people, right? And there's no other way to do it. But you really need heavy equipment to do that stuff, right? But you don't care. You're there, and you're like, I got to help. We got to help, and that's just what they are. You're trying to do. And then maybe every 15 minutes, you'd hear a whistle, right? and then everybody would get quiet because they're trying to hear.
People yelling.
Yeah, if they could hear a voice, and then sometimes you would hear another whistle, right? And they would say the building's coming down, like because the surrounding buildings were penetrated by some of the falling debris from the higher parts of the World Trade Center. So they didn't know which buildings were still going to stand, so it was just controlled chaos. The first night was absolute chaos, Then you're going down there every day. It was, again, very surreal. I knew some of the cops that wound up perishing that day, and it was terrible, man. It was. I will say one thing. There was an appreciation for the people that were the first responders.
Yeah.
That's the first time, at least as a cop, that's the first time that I felt any appreciation, and it was very moving, The other part that I remember was just the poor firemen, man. They lost so many of their brothers.
Yeah.
They lost 343 of their brothers. And it was so sad to watch a lot of these retired guys coming down there. They can't even walk, right? And they put their hats on and they're in there, and it was really sad, man. It was sad, And then the other part that struck me was the missing posters
Everywhere.
which was to me like I didn't understand it, right? Like, why are you putting them? But people looking for closure, right?
Yeah.
They're looking for closure. They lost their mother, their father, their sister, their brother, wife, husband, whatever it was, and they don't know what happened to them, So, like, that to me was really emotional. I was like, even when I look back and I think about it now, it's like, man, that was just terrible. It was terrible.
That's a tough one. Those pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went down a dark road there. I'm not sure we bounced back from that.
Well, let's go right into a dude wipe question.
Oh, my dude wipe question.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, saved by a dude wipe. So, this question is brought to you by Dude Wipes. Now, the question is very simple. The question is the worst shitting story you can think of. The rules are either you've seen it, it was told to you, or it happened to you personally, where a dude wipe would have benefited the situation. Now, being a law enforcement in deep cover, I can imagine you've had some questionable shitting stories.
Well, I have a couple stories, right? Ooh. I'm glad that you asked this question.
I got 3 on deck right now.
I remember locking somebody up for drugs as a cop, and I was able to get I was able to surprise him before he was able to sell anything, right? So that's pretty much what I did. I was hiding in one of the buildings, and I jumped out and I grabbed him, right? And he was like, he shit himself at that point.
What'd you say, boo? What the fuck happened?
So, I mean, when I'm telling you he shit himself. Like, it was dripping down his
I've
leg.
done shit in my pants.
So, of course, I have to cuff him, and he's got to go in the car, right?
Your car?
You
can't call a rookie?
At that point, I didn't have a car.
Ooh,
so
God.
we go back to the precinct, right? Meanwhile, it's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So we put him in the cell, and he starts getting upset at me. So
why did he get upset?
Because I locked him up and he shit his pants, so he started throwing feces at me.
There was that much shit left over.
Oh yeah.
From being arrested.
No, it was in his pants.
Yeah, but I thought it was like running down his legs.
Yeah, but there was still some hard shit too.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a mixture of hard and soft shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a weird
I
guy.
The man scared the shit out of him.
I don't know if you heard him. Scared the shit right out of him. Wow. Did you offer him a dude? Would you have offered him dude wipe? Could you? At that point?
Truthfully,
Legally?
I don't think I would have offered him anything. He was throwing shit at me.
You could have used a dude wipe.
I probably could have.
Yeah.
Catch it,
You know what'd be great?
One question.
Oh.
Who cleans that?
The janitor?
Hell. Is there a janitor?
No, the cops clean that.
Oh.
Wait, hold on. There's no janitor at the police station?
Yeah, of course.
You make the rookies do it?
But the janitor comes in the morning, and if you're working
so who's
for the
cleaning it? The rookie, like he said? You?
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn right you are.
Wow.
I don't want to alarm you, but your skin tone is just a little bit too light to stop the hand there when you're waving. Just you gotta go all the way up or all the way down. That's pick me. Can you imagine asking someone that question? They shit their pants in the chair. That would be. I could use one right now. I just shit my pants. That'd be hilarious.
So you got one more lined up?
Yeah. What do you got? Another,
Okay.
give me another shit
No,
story.
this is not a police story. This is actually
Personal?
a friend story.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Not,
me,
and not a friend, not me.
I want his
not-
first and last name so I can tag him.
Oh, no way. No way. So, a friend of mine just starts dating this girl, right? Takes her out to dinner, right? They have a beautiful dinner, right? And they're like starting to get into it, and they're like, let's go to a hotel.
Getting a little freaking out there.
Yeah, let's go to a hotel.
Why, they don't have a house, either one of them? Are they cheating?
No,
Are they
they were younger. Younger at the
I
time.
gotcha. Okay.
So they go to a hotel, but on the process of going to the hotel, their stomachs start to kind of bother them a little bit.
Both of them?
Both.
Ooh, the bad calamari. Go ahead.
That's exactly what happened.
Really, bad calamari?
Yes.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
So the guy didn't make it to the bathroom, so he shit his pants on the way in, and the girl was stuck on the toilet for the rest of the night.
So anal's off the table.
So, anal, I would say, is way off the table at that point.
For at least a couple days.
yeah. Safety first. I get it. Wow.
But
I've been there. I've been there with bad.
How's that
calamari.
for a first, for a first sexual encounter?
So they didn't get it on?
They're married 20 years.
They have 3 children.
I don't-
His name is Artie.
I don't think so.
Wow.
So you still know the guy?
I do.
Still friends of yours?
He is.
Listen, you can't have that many friends. I'm gonna go through this list.
I'm not. There's no names being
To the
mentioned.
grave.
But he's gonna hear this. He'd be like,
Oh, he's gonna
"That
know.
motherfucker."
He's gonna know. He's gonna laugh. too.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
I like, I noticed a lot this, you wanted to become a cop because you wanted to be helpful and be, not be a hero, but be helpful and get down in it. Why is it when I'm helpful, I get called Captain Save-A-Ho, and he's a hero? Why is that?
Who you trying to save?
Apparently hoes. My wife calls me Captain Save-A-Ho.
Like, for example, driving down the road and you see someone with a flat tire and he has a little extra time in his day, he'll stop and use the jack real quick and
And zip impact.
the impact gun.
They're always
have them
women.
in and out of there within like 5 minutes.
NASCAR time.
So that's a great thing that you
But
do.
if it's a pretty young woman,
It's
then-
always a woman. It's always.
yeah, well,
And if you'll every now and then you'll meet that one guy that can't change his spare to his tire, and he even looks like a woman, so it's okay.
we actually
always a woman.
we were coming on Route 3 one time going
Finish that story.
we were going down Route 3 heading towards home towards Lyndhurst from the city.
We were
and there was
coming hard on
so
Route
much,
3.
So much traffic. And there was this broken down couple with a flat tire. So I look at him like, come on, let's help him out.
You didn't fucking say shit.
The
I
old,
pulled
the old
over.
guy was out of the car like, what am I going to do? So he pulled over real quick, hop out. He changed it real quick within like 5 minutes. They were actually heading to, was it Billy Joel concert?
They
or
were
something?
having Billy Joel. I'm gonna stop you right there
ahead.
because I pulled over, not because he told me to. Yeah, I keep a jack in my car because you fucking tell me to. So I pull over. I have the impact gun. People bang it out. He's like, "Oh, I would offer you something, but we're going to a Billy Joel concert." I'm like, "I don't need your money. If I wanted your money, I would have robbed you. I'm here to help you. Don't keep your money." "Oh, I'm going to Billy Joel. I'm going to see Billy Joel." I'm like, "So are our parents, our aunt, and my mom." They were next to my mom and my aunt in the stadium.
No shit.
Yeah, like 3 seats over.
See, like you joke around all the time, right? Like you.
I do.
But
Yes.
here's the deal, though. You're a good man because you know what? You stopped.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to stop, right? But that's who you are, right? That's kind of what your core
And
is.
this was after like a 12-hour day,
Right. You're a good-
diving all day.
Dude, you're a good guy.
I'm gonna end you with this last story of me pulling over. Okay, I haven't seen this girl in probably 5 years. I decided one day I'm working in Brooklyn. I'm on Pier 3 in Brooklyn. I'm like, fuck this. I'm going home. I was done diving for the day. I'm like, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys later. I left at noon. Really treated myself. So I'm driving down Route 7 and I see a car pulled over on this right offside the bridge on Route 7. I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? I pull over. The girl's on her hood in a ball. What the fuck? I go over. I know her. She sees me, runs, jumps on me. She goes, "Oh my God, I started a new job. I got a flat tire. I got to check it, lock the keys in the car. I have 16 minutes to make it back to Newark." She went to home to see her father because her father was ill. So now she's on the side of Route 7, flat tire, cell phone's locked in the car, can't get in the car. I laughed at her. I'm like, I have a Slim Jim, I have the little wedge, I have the ball, open the car, pop a trunk, jack out, on the road, under 5 minutes, have a good day. Let's fast forward. About 3 years later, she's getting married. I get off exit 15E in Newark. I see a little white, no, it wasn't a white, it was a green pickup truck pull over the side of the road, piece of shit. I'm like, the fuck? I pull over. I'm like, you all right, buddy? He goes, I ran out of gas. I'm like, it's the fucking 21st century. How the fuck you ran out of gas? He goes, I don't know. I had 3 gas, 5-gallon jerry cans in my truck for our work. You always use them for the equipment. So I fill up 5 gallons. I'm like, I'll see you later. He's like, I have no cash. I'm like, I stole the gas anyway. Don't worry about it. Which I did, officer. I stole the gas. So I leave, right? Now, he was going to a rehearsal dinner of my friend who I already helped on the road years prior.
Wow.
So now I'm going to the wedding. I'm on Route 80, going up to Stanhope to go to the wedding. I see a Nissan Quest pull on the side of the road. I pull over. I'm like, ma'am, you okay? Dressed to the nines, looking primo, looking good. She goes, car just shut off. I'm like, let's see if we can get, now I'm in a suit. I'm like, let me see what I can do for you. I open the hood. I'm like, your serpentine belt went. I'm looking at the tensioner. I'm like, it's not done a Steve's bearing. It's everything's spinning. I'm like, oh, maybe we'll just loose and it over time just shredded.
Right.
I go on my phone, AutoZone, that exit. I'm like, listen, give me 2. Flat AutoZone, come back with the serpentine belt, throw it on. Ma'am, you have a good day. What do I owe you? I'm like, it was $26. Have a good one. Don't worry about it. I get on. I get to the wedding. Here I know the bride. Bride says hi to me. The bride introduced me to her now new husband. He was the man I gave the gas to. They're like, oh my God, he did the same thing for me. Now the bride's mother comes over. That was Nissan Quest.
Wow.
All 3 of them in a 5-year span. I stopped inside the road and helped them at 3 different areas of the state.
So, but what do you think that says about you then?
I do that to buy my way into heaven. I've done a lot of bad,
dude.
So I try to do 3
You're
good.
full of it, man. That's not what you do. You do it because you just.
I do it for the Data Boys.
It feels right.
It feels good in the
right.
heart.
Yeah.
It feels good. I do it for the Data Boys. Our producer's telling us we need to finish.
Okay.
I have one last question for you.
Go.
8 inches.
Where did you retire at? Your position?
Okay, I retired as a deputy inspector.
Wow, that's a sounds boss. What does that do?
It gets his nephew out of some tickets in the city sometimes.
Can I get a PPA card?
I got you.
Oh!
So I retired as a deputy inspector. I had a great career. It was a good run, man. It was a good run. I was very satisfied. Oh, nice.
I have nothing. I have none.
I need the wallet. And I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
But it was a good run for me. I finished off at a good rank. I was in the detective bureau most of my career, so I did investigations, and life was good, man.
That's awesome.
Thank you for your years.
And
of
now you're
dedicated
really
service.
living the dream.
Oh, I am definitely living
Just
the dream.
fucking hanging out with these 2 cool cats.
Dude, every day is Saturday to me.
Really?
Every day.
So you don't have a case on the Mondays ever?
You got a boat?
No.
You got what are you
got a
doing?
boat?
What are you doing yourself?
You like to fish?
I'm actually trying to open a business.
What are you going to do?
Do a little real estate on the side and trying to do something else.
I sell used underwear on the internet.
Nice.
You going to tell us what you're going to do, or is it a secret?
Little secret.
Ooh.
You ever
Kind of like the show that you guys were working on, right?
Oh.
Ah.
I was just gonna ask. You ever want to get into acting or anything?
I actually was in a movie.
What movie?
Whoa.
Debbie Does
was.
Dallas?
Whoa.
Who are you in?
No.
Debbie Does Dallas.
Ray does Reno. No.
Ray gets down in Reno.
No, I was a stunt double. And
For who?
2 weeks notice for Mike Piazza.
Yeah, I heard this story once.
You
I
look like
forgot.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see Mike
Well,
Piazza there.
in my thinner days. I
I'm
was-
visioning you thinner, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're
Great.
welcome. I
Thanks.
squinted.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was cool. A matter of fact, I still get royalties from it.
Do you know Mike
What?
Piazza?
No.
You have stuff on her?
But listen, I looked so much like him that the other doubles came over to me to ask me for an autograph. And you know me, I'm
You're going to oblige.
Mike Piazza.
I'm
I was
fucking
I was
Piazza.
Mike Piazza.
Have
so
you
I said,
ever dressed in like a Mets jersey and maybe went out to like a bar or something and maybe told people you were Mike Piazza?
No.
Nah, you missed
I'm a
out.
Yankee fan, dude.
So
There's
I
no way
know
I'm
I
doing that,
am.
bro.
First of all, I could be the biggest fan of anything. I would still take a blowjob from a person who's the opposite fan. That's all I'm saying.
On that note, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for
thank you
having
for your
me.
years of service.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm going to
Jim.
hold you that. I want the wallet.
Oh,
I
dude.
had one.
I didn't say that.
I had the wallet,
Oh, really?
and I lost it.
You lost it?
No, I really did. I had
Well,
it.
why? He's not gonna give you one now. You're gonna lose it.
No, I had it. I don't bring it to work anymore. I had it in a gear bag, and every time I work in the city, I would take it and leave it on my dash, and it works really well.
Ooh, don't do that.
Not anymore. I don't have it.
That's not a good thing.
No, I have a little laminated thing I put there. But anyway, I had it in my gear bag, and the gear bag fell off the boat. And when the time we learned of this, it was who knows? We know we lost it. We can't go look for it. And I never got another one.
That's terrible.
That is bad.
Just saying.
Okay.
If you can make that happen.
We'll try.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the Dirty Water Boys podcast. Diving
you, bud.
deep. Thank you.